Kings talk to discuss.
And we've got you covered. It's the Drive Guys.
I got to tell you, our next guest has become just an outstanding member of the local Kings media, even though, Jay, I don't know if you know this, Jay.
Yeah, I already know where you're going.
She has managed to overcome the fact that she's a Dodger fan.
Yeah, I almost canceled her appearance, to be completely honest.
From NBC Sports Bay Area. Yeah, Tristi Rodriguez. How are you, Tristi?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fine, Tristi, I think it was last year, we happened to be at the same media table, for a pregame meal, and we were talking about the Dodgers, and she asked me who I root for, and I said Padres, and I don't, she's like nodded to me. I don't think she's talked to me since, Jay. So
that's all right. You can give her that same response back
that's
too.
Right.
Now she might have a one-up on you because she's a world champ, but I hear where you're going.
I know, two-time and all that. Tristi.
Yeah, I had to think about it when they asked me if I wanted to do the show, but here I am.
We appreciate it. Thanks for overlooking all that. With all the things that have gone wrong for the Kings this year, what would you say? And I know there have been a few things, but what would you say has actually gone right?
It's funny because I think a couple weeks ago, Brendan Nunez was asked something similar, like, what's the positive for the Sacramento Kings this season? And his response kind of got people talking like, wow, Brendan, why are you so negative? Because he said, well, I can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
And, it got me thinking too. And I was like, I don't blame him for that answer because it's hard. And you don't want to be negative, right? You don't want to be negative, Nancy. You don't want to just like keep picking on the negatives, but it's hard not to with this team because they don't do a lot of things great. But to answer your question, I would say, I think the return or the addition of Keegan Murray this season, it's promising. And the youth, I think, which Keegan falls under that category, it gives a fan base who has been patient for so long just a little bit of hope, at least something to watch. We saw it last night with Max Raynaud, right? The rookie center. Max Raynaud is not going to help them be contenders right away, right? But it's at least giving these games that are so hard to watch, this team filled with veterans, future Hall of Famers, all these things that just don't know how to play well together. It gives fans, us media members, people watching across the league, at least something positive to talk about. You guys on these radio shows and the podcasts and, even here on our post-game show, it's hard not to weigh in on just negative stuff, but players such as Max, it gives us a little bit of positive to talk about.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. That's something that we've kind of talked about today a little bit, and I'll propose the question to you as I propose to the show and the listeners. And Whitey, do you believe this fan base can get on board with this organization coming to grips that they're tanking?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think what's the alternative, right? Like, this team isn't going to make the playoffs. And it's worse if they push for that or they sneak into the play-in. At this point, I think that's what the fan base is kind of rooting for. I don't want to speak for the fans. I'm not, a part of the Sacramento Kings fan base, but just from people that I've had conversations with and group chats and just online chatter. And I know, Twitter doesn't represent all of the Kings fans, but just from what I've seen, what I've heard, and just what I've gathered over the past couple of weeks, it seems like that's the best possible outcome from this season that, it's just not been a great start.
Yeah, it definitely looks like, from where we're all sitting, the wisest path forward. It's not an easy path to follow, but it seems to be the best move going forward. You mentioned Maxime Raynaud, and we had talked about that earlier, as Jay said, how it is something positive to kind of watch as a Kings fan. What stands out to you about the way he's advanced as quickly as he has and the way he's been putting up some of these numbers over the last few games?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but I had some skepticism with him early on. But he's a rookie. Like, that's what you expect. And to improve in your rookie season, you need the reps, you need the time, you need to be on the court, and not just in garbage minutes, not just, at the end of games or whatever. And we've seen Max take advantage of these opportunities that are presented because of injuries. Like, he wouldn't be having these opportunities maybe if Domas wasn't injured, right? Or if, Jonas Valanciunas was still on this team. So he's getting these opportunities and he's taking advantage of them. And I think that's how he's been able to grow, because he's not just playing in garbage minutes. He's playing against Jokic, and he's playing against these big name players, right? And we're throwing him out there, and that's how we can really evaluate his growth. And I think what I noticed in the last game was he's improving a lot in his shooting, right? He was, I think,
Yeah.
2 for 2 from 3-point range. So that's something that I want to continue to see with him, because that's, the trend that the league is going. So that's certainly a welcome sight for a 7-footer to be knocking down threes. But also just the footwork in the paint, the way his finesse, and it takes a little bit of a little while for rookies to, find that groove and learn and develop. But it seems like, listen, he's still going to make mistakes, right? Like there were some things I'm like, oh, like, defend better, rebound better. You should have got that rebound or whatever. There's things, but that's expected. Even the best players do that. But I think just the little things, the finesse, like I mentioned, the footwork, it's all coming to him, and we're seeing it in real time, so early, probably earlier than even the Kings thought they would.
Joined by Tristi Rodriguez of NB Sports Bay Area, NBC Sports Authentic. Tristi, you talked about Keegan Murray bouncing back, and he hasn't, of course, didn't play the full season due to injury. I've been one that has wanted more from Keegan, with the understanding that he hasn't always had the opportunity. You talked about Keegan coming back. What have you seen from Keegan? A lot of people around what you do, the NBA media and Sacramento Kings media, and fans have looked at Keegan and said, well, we see a slight difference with him a little bit. He seems to be a more authoritative. Are you catching that, or is it just the fact that he's had a better opportunity?
No, I 100% agree. I think, and I don't want to speak for Keegan, I don't, but we've heard players say, we heard DeMar DeRozan flat out say, this is Keegan's team. I mean, he's rewarded with the contract. After trading De'Aaron Fox, it's like, who's the face of this team? It's Keegan. And I think the biggest thing that I've seen kind of click for him or his next step is him understanding that, because we understand it. His teammates understand it. His coaches understand it. But that next step for him is going to be for him to understand it and really want to step up and take advantage of that opportunity. And I think that's kind of what's next for Keegan. I think we're starting to see that. It's a small sample size. He's only played a handful of games since returning from injury. But I think, like we all keep saying, year by year, he needs to be more aggressive offensively. We've seen how he's grown defensively since his rookie season, right? From just a 3-point spot shooter to becoming a true two-way threat. And now it's just that aggression, that commanding the ball, demanding the ball, creating for himself. And I think he's, taking those steps towards doing that.
Tristi Rodriguez with us, NBC Sports Bay Area. This may be a tough one. I know you just posted something really interesting, an interesting observation of Zach LaVine. You essentially said, sometimes it looks like he's not giving his best effort, and then, boom, he does something incredible. How do you think we got to this point, Tristi, between the team, the fans, and Zach LaVine, where all of a sudden there just appears to be so much ill will?
I wish I knew. I'm asking myself the same thing, and I think it's so puzzling, right? And I tweeted that because there's so many. It's not just Zach. It's like a lot of players. It's sometimes we know Russ, is going to make sometimes careless mistakes or whatever, but he also provides a lot of positive and joy and the effort and whatever. With Zach, sometimes it's frustrating because we can see him really spark an offense with his shooting, and we've seen it in spurts with the Sacramento Kings, but also it's with Zach LaVine, and with a player like Zach LaVine, the highs are high, and then the lows are so dramatically on the opposite side of that. And so that's what's really puzzling about it, because he's not a rookie, he's not a young player, he's a vet. He should know how to kind of balance that by now. And I don't know if there's issues in the locker room. I don't want to speculate, but it just seems like it's hard not to go there, because it just seems like something's off within the players. They're all veterans. We thought they were all friends. We thought they, got along, and maybe they do, but it's just clearly not clicking on the court. And one thing is that you should never show it. You should never let people know it. And it kind of feels like they are showing that side. So it's a question I'm still trying to find the answer to. I don't know. It's super puzzling. And I'm sure for the Kings and within themselves, it's very frustrating.
Spidey senses are telling you something, Tristi. Your antennas are up.
Yeah,
I can
Yeah.
understand. Last one for me as we let you get on with your beautiful Thursday. Just moving forward, the rest of the season, we're asking fans, what would you like to see? Someone who's in the fight, who covers the squad every single day. What does Tristi Rodriguez want to see from this team, this organization, moving forward for the rest of the season?
I mean, I think I want to see a little bit of what we saw in the last game. And minutes is such a weird, sensitive topic, right? But because you have so many veteran players on this team, like I said, future Hall of Famers, but like maybe less minutes for the vets. That's Zach LaVine, DeMar, Domas, Russ, Schroeder when he gets back, and more minutes for guys like Max, like Keegan, like Keon, Neat Clifford, and giving those guys more opportunities, which I know, with trade talks and all that, it's hard to balance. I'm sure I don't envy Doug Christie's job. But I think it's what I would like to see as just a spectator, as someone who covers this team, is to see those guys get a little bit more minutes, and not just, like I mentioned earlier, not just in garbage time, not just, when they're getting blown out by 25 and, Doug's clearing his benches or whatever. No, I want to see them playing against opposing first units. And that's because that's really how they're going to grow. And it just seems like with the direction that this team is going, a lot of the veteran players on this team probably aren't going to be in Sacramento's future. Those young guys that I just mentioned, they are. So let's see them. Why not? Like, this team isn't going to go anywhere. This team's not going to make the playoffs. So why not use, your 2 draft picks from this year and see what they can do on the court. So that's what I would like to see. I would like to see more Keegan, Neek, Max, Keon, and players like that.
Where's Devin?
Devin too, man. How did I forget about him? Yeah, Devin too.
Tristi, thank you. We appreciate it. Great follow on Twitter. We look forward to your next reporting, NBC Sports Bay Area. Thank you, Tristi. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, guys. Go Dodgers.
Appreciate
Okay.
you.
Can we clip that, Jay?
She did a couple body blows on the way out.
I know.
Dang.
I was gonna go back before we got out. I thought, no, just get out nice and clean.
Oh, you were gonna try to throw a body
I
blow.
was, and I thought, no, I'm not gonna.
Which would you say, Tristi?
Tristi playing nice. You don't know about me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, you're very
No
welcome.
doubt.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to go high road there, Jay, and say
Okay.
that's what you get.
That's my boy, Stretchy B.
That's what you get.
Always taking the high road.
Doesn't pay off.
It
Sometimes,
doesn't,
does
man.
it?
Sometimes you just got to